Aminé for me has got to be one of the most carefree, I don't take myself too seriously rappers around at the moment. Really enjoy this guy's style. He's fun. Like I say, he doesn't really take things too seriously, and I think it tends to pay off for him really nicely. Sometimes you would hear it with some rappers and you'd certainly be sat there thinking, I want a bit more substance from this guy. Or gal, of course. But I mean, it never matters. You just forget everything in that moment. He's such a fun escapism rapper. Like, you don't necessarily need the lyrics to be deep when he's just sounding like he's always having a great time. I think good for you. The album as a whole was pretty underrated, honestly. I say underrated because it was still relatively popular at the time, given that the single Caroline was huge. But honestly, that was one of the worst tracks on the album for me. I thought the rest of the album had so much more to offer. I think the track with Offset was such a great, fun tune. He's got bags of charisma. He's rapped over so many different kinds of beats. It's kind of insane at this point. He had one of the best verses, if not the best verse of the year, on that Injury Reserve track in 2019, Jailbreak the Tesla. I still stand by that. I will die on the hill of saying that that probably was the best rap verse I heard in 2019. So, you know, ironically saying, you know, that I wouldn't say he's the most lyrical or engaging rapper when it comes to content, but that's kind of bold actually to say he had maybe verse of the year for 2019. It just goes to show. It just goes to show what rap can bring. Last year had another highlight with the fact that he was on a Disclosure track, the kind of instrumental that you'd never expect to hear him on. He killed it. He fucking killed it. He nailed it. I want to hear a whole album of him doing tracks like that, to be honest, but we have 2.5 here to keep us over, to tide us over. Hopefully he listens to me and does an album full of tracks like that one day, because I think he could nail it. He just need to find the right producers, to be fair, to do a full album doing that. But, you know, he'd find them, I'm sure. This is, of course, a sequel mixtape to 1.5. Pretty unexpected, out of nowhere. He gave us a Charmander single, which I thought was brilliant. An absolutely fun pop rap track that is just not to be ignored for this year. It's one of the biggest highlights in pop rap music, but not only that, just music in general. And I didn't anticipate there'd be something to go along with it, but I'm glad that we got something. I will say it mirrors 1.5 in that it's pretty good, but there's just one song that takes the whole thing by storm and just is very difficult to completely, reach that level. For me, 1.5 was Reel It In. I absolutely love Reel It In, but this time around it's Charmander. Look, if I can get 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 Aminé songs every year that I absolutely love and are gonna make it on my year-end list, I'll take it. I'll take that, to be fair. But I'm still sort of waiting for that one big moment in terms of albums and mixtapes that completely blow me away. And he just keeps falling short ever so slightly. He got close last year with Limbo. That was the closest he got. But this one here just falls short. I'll start with Charmander because I've already mentioned it. Unbelievably colourful. This track is just splashing in your face and the paint is just getting stuck to you and will never leave. For the however many minutes this song runs on for, as soon as it's over, the colours go away because you just want that euphoria to come back. The chorus is ridiculously infectious, those chipmunk vocals coming through. Like I say, I've always been pretty vocal with stuff like this. It can be hit and miss, mostly miss I think, but my god. I've been living on an island. It's sort of what Brockhampton think they're doing these days, but they're not quite getting it. Yeah, Aminé just kind of blew them out the water with this one song, to be honest. But yeah, this is like the obvious highlight of the mixtape, and that's okay. Like I said, I'm happy to take one song a year, preferably more from Aminé. But some tracks just kind of fall short. They're still pretty enjoyable. They're still pretty carefree and breezy, like the opening track. Like I say, just that down to a T. It has the Good For You vibes as well. Definitely reminds me of that album. Everything's going so well in the track, and then it builds to that one line that he keeps sort of like repeating. I guess it's the refrain, but it just kind of leaves me a bit disappointed that it's like, what is it? I wrote it down. It's friggin' eat the pussy up, treat her like a slut. Like, that's the line you're leading to. It wouldn't be a problem if it was just a throwaway line in a verse. I mean, I still wouldn't exactly, you know, be absolutely adoring that kind of lyric, to be fair, but if it's just a throwaway line that you don't hear again, it wouldn't be too bad. But the fact that it's like, you know, everything leading up until this moment, and that's the moment, and he drops that line, it's a bit like, well, Neo suffers from the opposite issue, really, in that the track itself just needs a bit of a switch up with Aminé's delivery. His flow just feels incredibly redundant by the end. I don't want to say it's redundant because that makes it sound like I think the song's bad, but I just feel like he needs to bring a bit more of an energetic flair to the track at some point to switch it up. It wouldn't be so bad if the song started like it and then it kind of progressed into something else, but it just ends up being a bit like, oh, not sure if this was the best he could have gave us. Diddy Dum Daddy, Diddy Dum Daddy is a track that starts out with some incredibly icy cold vocals to kick off the track. An interesting way that he takes it, and then it has like this kind of cool atmospheric feel to it. It does go into a bit more of like a bouncy flavor for the rest of the track. It's just kind of one of those songs that sort of breezes by you, though. It's not something I'm gonna really be remembering like further down the line. It's cool in the moment, just like OKWME, which has that bloody your Vivienne Westwood line, which I just find so funny. Not entirely sure if it's for the right reasons, but I do just find it funny. But yeah, tracks like this, they're pretty solid in the moment, but I just don't think there's enough to them that stick in the long run. Twisted probably has the best shout at being a track that has longevity, but also with it being next to Charmander, both tracks just seem to carry this upbeat momentum to them that don't really slow down, and it feels like Aminé's just in his bag while he's doing these songs. And I think that's why these two tracks stand out the best, because they're placed next to each other and you just feel the delivery from Aminé just kind of keeping your attention for the whole time. They're pretty short tracks though. I mean, this is a short thing overall anyway. Mad Funny Freestyle though definitely has lines in it that I will not be forgetting. Man, again, just gotta read this shit out, man. Mummy disappointed because she want a Sarah. I'm the African Darth Vader, baby. I'm your father. And one of the funniest lines I've heard in a good while. Honestly, that shit just cracked me up so much. But yeah, generally this is okay. It's very mixtape quality. I mean, all the tracks are so short. You kind of want more from them and they don't necessarily deliver. Not to say that all mixtapes do that, but I think when an artist has solidified themselves and they do go back to those mixtapes, you do end up finding this kind of thing come